So good morning, guys. Today I'll be actually using English, and I think because I already received some messages in my inbox, people complaining, "Uncle, you only use Luganda." uh, and remember, the community is filled with people who don't understand Luganda at all. People from different countries, different nationalities, ethnicities, and all the stuff. So I think we shall be more engaged with English than Luganda, since this is a global platform, and of course the business we talk of is always global, not Ugandan, and not central to be precise. So good morning. Today it's Friday, of course, June 5th. As you can see, no, not yeah, here. Yeah, it's June 5th. And I believe it's a great day. And of course, we're going to be talking about the crypto market and the stock market. And before actually I proceed, I have to remind you that your go-to-go crypto trading tool, uh, you should consider Crypto Pilot, of course, because it does the job perfectly well. As you can see, mine here is actually in the market, busy running trades on my behalf without my personal involvement to be actual. As you can see, today it has so far made me $516 in profits from my trading capital of over $120,000 plus. Yeah, so good capital gives you good profits. I don't want to come here and lie to you that with $1,000 you make such amounts of money. No, good profits, good capital gives you good profits, or good profits are as a result of good capital. Yes, it's all actually very possible. So today, as we speak, I believe crypto, Bitcoin, the stock market are topics many of us are curious about, and it can sometimes feel a bit complicated. And my goal is to always make sense of it, to give you a clear and, of course, easy understanding picture of where Bitcoin stands, stock market stands, the entire crypto market stands, and, of course, several other financial instruments, and, what I think I'm seeing coming next, because, of course, these markets are always, revolving, rotating, changing, whatever you can call it. You can think of me as your guide, but of course I'm just a simple ordinary guy. I am a nobody, to be precise. So I don't take myself in high regards to whatsoever. Yeah, so let me hope, my hope of helping you navigate the ups and downs of these beautiful markets will be of help, of course. help funny. Well, where are we now, if how we may ask, let's go to current market cap to start with. As I look at the market today in June 2026, Bitcoin is a bit quiet, in a quiet phase. Yeah, it's in a bit of a quiet phase. It comes down quite a bit, since it has come actually down a bit since its big high in 2025. Remember, actually we had that major pump. Where is the trading view? The trading view is here. Which asset is this? This is the Dow Jones. Yeah, I was actually checking it. I think we shall go through it as well. If we look at BTC, how is it performing today? So from its previous high, around here, around there, this date, around here, this is when we actually had that high of around let me get a line here, that high of $126,000. As you can see up there, that high was of $126,000, and this date around here was October 2025. To be precise, it was around 6th of October. Ever since that, Bitcoin has been experiencing a downturn, as you can see, and of course this downturn has accumulated to a 50% drop, and that's from 2025 October to where we are 2026 June. But from this year, if we are looking at only 2026, Bitcoin has dropped by 36%. Has dropped by 36%. And of course, this isn't usual. Markets often go up and down in cycles, much like seasons change. And of course, Bitcoin has fell from its peak. But that's what happens. For me, however, I'm starting to see small but important signs that things might be changing. And of course, quote me right, I'm not saying that we've hit the absolute lowest point yet, but the market is showing signs that it's getting ready to move from a tough period to a more positive one. Yes, right now the period is not really that good, because when you look at the fear and greed index, it's actually in extreme fear. As you can see there, the fear and greed index is this, and of course it is in extreme fear. But one of the greatest investors we have today, Mr. Warren Buffett, has a quote that has made a lot of people successful in these markets. Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. This is one of the richest men in the world, and at one point he was the richest man in the world. We can actually even get here and ask Google, when was Bill Gates the richest man in the world? Oh, no, not Bill Gates. When was Warren Buffett the richest man? Are there years where he was the richest man? Warren Buffett was the richest person in the world in 2008. In 2008, he was the richest man with an estimated net worth of $62 billion. So this gentleman made majority of these dollars. You see here the $62 billion, blah, blah. Right now, he is worth more than that. But of course, he's not the richest, because right now the world has changed so much from 2008. Right now, the richest man in the world is worth more than $700 billion. Elon Musk. Let's check here, how much is he worth? You can see currently his net worth ranges between 834 to 839 billion dollars. He's the richest man. You can see the gap from 60, from we can say 830 minus 68. You can see the difference in between there. From 2008 to 2026, you can see the gap in between wealth, how wealth has really grown, like very, very, very fast. The richest man currently is significantly, higher in net worth by $760 plus billion when you compare him to the then richest man in 2008. So right now, it is very easy for someone to get rich if you position yourself well in probably markets you understand. Right now, one of the markets where the money is the AI sector, is the technology sector. Personally, I'm in the crypto market, and of course I'm venturing into the stock market as well. and of course it's quite, it's worth it all. And I like highly encourage each and everyone to, of course, get into these markets. So Bitcoin does not actually move alone. It is actually it moves with other markets. It like Bitcoin does not exist in a bubble. It's connected to the larger financial world. Especially the big stock markets like the S&P 500. I have actually recently seen. We can go here on the chart and we try to check out the S&P 500. you know Personally, from my personal point of view, as you can see on the graphs, I have recently seen that the S&P 500 bounced back a bit, but there is a bigger trend I am watching. Money is getting harder to borrow. Interest rates are higher, which means banks are lending less freely. When money is tight in the general economy, Bitcoin often fails. It feels it fast, to be honest. Also, some very large new companies are expected to launch their stocks later in 2026. And of course, I've been talking about some of those, companies like SpaceX. I think I did some research about those companies here. As you can see, companies that are expected to launch in 2026, we have SpaceX, with a valuation of something like $1.5 trillion to $2 trillion. Then we have OpenAI. It is actually also widely, of course, rumored, to have an IPO in late 2026. And of course they are targeting a valuation of $1 trillion. Then we have Anthropic. It's more of a competitor to OpenAI. And they're also eyeing, an IPO around, October 2026 with a, an expected valuation of $400 billion. Then we have Databricks. It's here, Databricks. It's a giant actually in AI software and data. And it's also actually, preparing for an IPO, this very year with a valuation of $130 billion. And we have Stripe. It's a payment infrastructure, as you can see. And of course they are also, waging an IPO. So money won't stay in the crypto market, without any solid reason as to why it has to stay there. Money will always find where it can go such that it can get duplicated, it can get multiplied. And currently, because there are these eventual IPOs, mostly the SpaceX IPO, then a lot of people are rotating their money, from the Bitcoins, from the Ethereums, from the Solanas, and all that, to something that actually will actually get them something worthwhile. If we look at different outs, I will just actually go through them. I was actually, I trade them on a daily basis. Ethereum actually is ranging around. We can go there and check on Ethereum, but of course, it's here, Ethereum. As you can see, Ethereum right now is trading around, $1,644. With a drop of 5%, in the past 24 hours. Then if we look at Solana, Solana USDT, you can see it is trading around 64. 64. In the past 2+ years, it's not been that low. In the past 2+ years, it's not been that low, and we are seeing it all. We are witnessing it right before our eyes, And of course, in the past 24 hours, it has had a drop of around 8%, And of course, we can look at XRP as well, because those are some of XRP USDT. XRP is trading around 1.1 dollars, and it has had a drop of around 1.6 around 6% in the past 24 hours. And of course, the total market, the total market cap of cryptocurrencies has also dropped by 4%, as you can see here, in the past 24 hours. And of course, the current market cap in figures is $2.13 trillion. Well, that's a bit not really good. That's not really good. If we look at the liquidations, they are closing in to $1 billion. We can see the data from by the time I checked, it was around some few minutes back. It was around $989 million, but right now it has actually stretched to $1.17 billion. And of course, the leaders are the longs. The longs are getting wrecked harder, and the largest liquidation we've had in the past 24 hours is from Binance, a single largest liquidation, and it is of $13 million. Imagine losing $13 million in a single trade. That's quite unfortunate. That's why I always encourage people to really look at shorting the market, because when you are shorting the market, we are looking at opportunities of the market falling. We are looking at the chances. We are betting at the chances of the market falling. And when the market falls, it falls harder. When the market goes up, it does not go up harder. It goes up in phases, in stages. It climbs. It does not fall. Like it does not just pump, anyhowly. It climbs slowly. That's why, for me, I always encourage people that if you really want to make some good money in this market, consider shorting the market. And your best friend to trade with these markets is this gentleman called Crypto Pilot, because with Crypto Pilot you can never miss on an opportunity in the market, long as you have positioned yourself in these markets with some decent capital. Crypto market does the risk management. Crypto market does the scanning, the analyzing, the execution on both opening the trades and closing the trades on your behalf, without you doing anything other than coming around here on your application and checking on how much the bot has made you. As you can see today, it has so far made me $516, and that is because of the capital I have, and of course its proficiency. It does the work really well. So I've said earlier on that personally I'm positive about the bitcoins and of course the crypto market. If we look at the volumes, they are a bit promising, I would say, because whenever, when Bitcoin prices drops, more people tend to search for it online. It's like when something big happens, everyone wants to know why, and if you look here, personally, I have noticed, a recent increase in people, searching for Bitcoin, especially in the last few months. This tells me there is a lot of interest actually, and perhaps some concern. As you can see, this is the Bitcoin, search interest or whatever. People are searching for Bitcoin, and you can see the curve right now is going up. This is Bitcoins against all other searches combined. you. So I think we are really looking at, a brighter future ahead. So that's why I can, should I say bluntly, oh, strongly or proudly encourage you to position yourself in Bitcoin as early as possible if you haven't positioned yourself, because you can see the interest in search for Bitcoins is rising. And I can actually go ahead and prove to you that actually I might be right, because if we look at the outflows for the past 11 days, actually Bitcoin has experienced some of the worst outflows. Yeah, the outflows were worse, because a lot, I think more than 3 point something billion dollars, were actually removed from the crypto market. And here we are talking Bitcoins only, more than 3 point something billion dollars worth of Bitcoins were put back to the market, Bitcoins, and of course the money was taken out, different people. And here we are talking about, of course, ETFs, because majority of what we have today as these supply shocks actually, keep on rising. It is as a result of people who are selling their Bitcoins, their Ethereums, their XRP, their Solana, their whatever coins, to position themselves for what is coming. And what is coming basically, you can call it capital rotation to AI stocks, plus SpaceX IPO, because just, the SpaceX roadshow, IPO is expected to at least accumulate something like $75 billion. Yes, the road show, which will start on 4th June, and I believe it already started, because today is 5th, Isn't today 5th June? Yeah, it is 5th June. So the road show started yesterday, So there is a lot happening in these spaces, and if you really want to make money, you have to be with the desire to know. You do your own research, or you can always come to my shows here and learn something and get updated and position yourself the right way. We don't make this money by mistake, okay? As others are losing in this market, we are making money. Why are we making money? You can see today I've so far made $516. Yesterday I made 3,400. Then the previous day I made 280, 2,800, 3,200, blah blah. We don't make that money by mistake. Even though the bot is doing everything, but the capital, how to get that capital? Yesterday I told you about something. I don't know if that note is still there. These markets, in the markets, there are 3 types of traders. When it comes to profitability, and should I use the word losability? I don't know. We have the predators, the prey, and prey who think they are predators. Prey who think they are predators are the prey who don't really do any research. They are the prey who don't position themselves, they just FOMO in. And those prey actually get eaten badly. So, yeah. We can look at, besides the search, people searching for Bitcoins, blah, blah. We can as well look at the buyback, you can actually even see it from here. That after all those massive outflows of $3+ billion, people have started actually buying back. As we can see today, $3.2 million worth of Bitcoins have so far been bought. And I believe that's some good news. Because if the SpaceX roadshow has already started, I would expect more people to be, like withdrawing their money, selling off their Bitcoins and other assets to, position themselves further. But guess what? They were like, no, I have to, of course, have some Bitcoins on the side. Even though I'm eyeing the SpaceX stocks, even though I'm eyeing the OpenAI stocks, even though I'm eyeing the Anthropic, stocks, no, I have to, of course, have some Bitcoins, Yeah, Bitcoins, maybe we could say MicroStrategy sold off some Bitcoins after a long period of time preaching one gospel: never sell your Bitcoins. Instead of selling your Bitcoin, at least sell a kidney. Instead of selling your Bitcoins, at least sell a hand. At least sell a leg. Broke him out and was like, you know what, guys? We have to sell some of these Bitcoins, man. And yeah, they sold 32 Bitcoins, And why did they sell those Bitcoins? Of course, to fund their preferred stocks. And guess what? Which stocks are they eyeing as well? The SpaceX stocks. Yeah, they are eyeing those. So they sold 32 Bitcoins. Yeah. Yes, 32 Bitcoins is nothing, to them, because they have a lot of Bitcoins. We can actually check here how many Bitcoins does MicroStrategy have. How many BTC does MicroStrategy own? Yeah, as of June 2026, MicroStrategy, now known as Strategy, owns 843,706 Bitcoins. Bro, they just sold off 32. These holdings represent roughly 4% of the total 21 million Bitcoin supply and are valued at 65 billion based on market cap. But of course, right now they are down by I think $11 billion. Yes, MicroStrategy is in a floating loss of $11 billion because yes, Bitcoins are below their average buying price right now. So, but of course, it's not the first time. For them, that's not news. It has happened multiple times. And of course, they have survived, and they will keep on surviving, I believe. They will keep on surviving. So, I personally also watch, how much Bitcoin is being bought and sold. Or it is, still within a normal range, I've seen a slight increase in activity, and of course, historically, when this activity picks up after a price drop, it often means the market is, getting ready to turn around because, go back to this gentleman's Warren Buffett quote. Yeah, we get back to this this gentleman's quote. Be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful. And what we are seeing right now, what is the index showing us? The fear and greed index. Fearful, actually not even fearful, but extreme fear. So if everyone is fearful, what do? You get greedy. So are you getting greedy? Hey, hello English only, bro. Are you getting greedy to position yourself? And by the way, one of the best ways to position yourself is by using this gentleman called Crypto Pilot, because for it, with Crypto Pilot, you can buy Bitcoins as it drops down. All you have to do is to come here and turn on this button. As you set your trades, you just turn on this button. Enable rebuys, what we call, some of you, what you call margin calls. You just turn them on, and you can choose to say whenever Bitcoins drops by this percentage, let's say 3%, blah, blah, you do what? You open another whatever position, blah, blah, So that's the beauty of this amazing tool called Crypto Pilot, okay? Yeah. We can as well talk about, of course, smart money moves, because who influences this money, these markets the most, is of course smart money. We can go back to 2023, even when many people were worried about probably a recession, high interest rates, high unemployment. Analysis showed that smart investors were quietly buying. They were buying, quietly. So this, actually, this is evident here. Who do you think is buying here? Because people are buying back. Even though things look bad, the sentiments shows that we are experiencing an extreme fear, but we are seeing here greens. 3 millions worth of course BTC have already got back to the market. Smart money always buy secretly, always positions themselves secretly, because I believe this price is at a discount of 50%. This Bitcoin price is at a discount of 50% from its all-time high. From its all-time high. It's at a discount of 50%. So why are you not positioning yourself? Muli Davide in Uganda, we say, are you waiting for bells? So yeah. So I don't know what your thesis is, but I believe, I think we need to really position ourselves, and we can look at what we can of course expect. The short-term view. I'm not saying long-term blah blah, but we can now let's talk about what might happen in the near future. The balance between those betting Bitcoin will go up and those betting Bitcoin will go down is pretty even right now. Some people are like it will go up, some people are like it will go down. Of course it will go both sides. It will go up and it will go down, and I believe this is good. This is a good sign, especially after a recent period where many people were betting against Bitcoin. And this actually led to a quick price bounce. I saw a bounce happen right off a key technical level, the 200 week moving average. So if you're thinking about getting involved, the current price is around, it's around, currently right now it's around $61,000. I believe this might be a more attractive entry point compared to earlier periods when it was consolidating between when it was consolidating actually between around here. Around here you see this consolidation. It was actually consolidating around between 65,000 and 71 $60,000, So I would, of course, I already pointed out what I believe to be important price levels. Personally, these are the price levels I'm watching, and I'm gonna give you my reasons. These ones here, So my first hurdle is around 60. Let me try to zoom out here. It's around actually, 68. 68. Yeah. If Bitcoin struggles to get, past this point and stays above, I believe we could see price dropping further, possibly below, 60, and my major challenge, is this mark here, $72,000 mark, to me, this is a strong resistance level, meaning, it will be tough for Bitcoin to break through, It also represents a key recovery point from the previous bull market, You can look at the previous, of course, bull market, It represents a key recovery point from the previous bull market. So if Bitcoin cannot only break above 74, but also stay there, that will be a strong signal that the 60,000 low is secure, and guys, if the prices fall further, should Bitcoin experience more declines? I anticipate, it finding support in the range of around here, 43 to $58,000. This area has historically acted as a strong floor, aligning with our previous lows and, of course, important price points from 2022 and 2024. Yes, we can check it here. Yeah, 2022. This is actually 2021 September. This has always acted as important price points. I don't know why these things. Let's go for the weekly time frame to have a clear picture of what is happening here. Jesus, and that actually it has gone up a bit. Let me get it. 50. Around actually this one, around here, yeah. 58, blah 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 blah, whatever, So considering the past, because actually the past is a very important learning point, of course, learning from the past. History often gives us clues about the future, Of course, even if it doesn't, repeat exactly how it happened, we've noticed, a pattern where Bitcoin often sees 3 weeks of price drop, uh, 3 weeks, of price drops, You can look here. Oh, this thing actually does not expand whenever I touch it. Maybe it hurts me. It's always 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks of price drops, and followed by small bounce, and then more, of course, declines, more declines, this pattern has occurred over 80% of the time. I see us in a similar situation now. Well, with Bitcoin, currently resting on the 200-week moving average, which could trigger a short-term bounce. However, my overall assessment suggests that Bitcoin will likely test lower prices again. You know, of course, it will test those lower prices again before it can start a strong, lasting upward trend. And yeah, to cut the story short, I know we've been here for some hours, no, not hours, minutes. I want to keep it short. To sum it up, Bitcoin is at a very interesting point. It's been, through a significant correction. But personally, I'm seeing early signs that things might be turning around. However, it's not going to be a smooth ride as it always is. It's never a smooth ride. We always have these ups and downs, higher lows, lower lows, higher highs. Whatever you may call it. So it's never, a smooth ride. And of course, the influence of the traditional markets, the current tight money situation, and what the data is telling me all points to continued ups and downs, and likely more tests of lower prices. But for those who are thinking long term, these periods of consolidation and accumulation, guided by careful analysis, could set the stage for a significant rally. Potentially starting. Late 2026. Yeah, later in 2026, of course. I'm looking at October. I'm looking at October. We could have that rally, around that time. But of course, you can't position yourself in October. We have to have some consolidations, as it always is, because you can't have these sharp drops. Then, of course, a sharp, pump. No, I believe we can have some consolidations. Then probably we can see something going up. Guys, thank you for your time. For those who have actually been here, those who have questions, you can throw them in. If anyone has a question, if there is no question, probably we shall call it a day, because I know right now it's time for work. Majority of our brothers and sisters are at work, so I don't want to be here for forever. I will cut it short, and yeah, we shall be here in the evening. And I would request you to bear with me with the English. I know some people prefer Uganda. But I think we shall go English, even though we are small in numbers. I really don't mind, but yeah, we shall go English for most of the times. Thank you, and may the good Lord bless you all. And of course, most importantly, remember to always use this gentleman called Crypto Pilot. It is an amazing trading tool that I highly recommend, for every trader to have, every investor to have. It trades both the crypto market, it trades the tokenized stocks, it trades gold, precious metals, of course. It trades currencies, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, yeah, come through. Let's, get going. May the good Lord bless us all. I sign out, guys.